I grew up in a suburb of Boston, Massachusetts called Malden. It's about 7 miles north of Boston.
I was born in the island of Antigua in the West Indies. Grew up on St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. Lived there until I was 13. My mother and I and my adopted sisters moved to Florida.
I have 5 brothers and 1 sister. I'm the youngest. My oldest brother is 15 years older than me. So our house was very busy. We had 1 bathroom and 4 bedrooms. So everybody shared a bedroom with somebody else. I went to Catholic school, as did all my siblings. So we wore uniforms every day, and the house was very busy inside and out. We walked to and from school every day.
I went to first grade through 7th grade in the Virgin Islands. Went to a private school, Seventh-day Adventist school. It wasn't our religion, but it was a good school. Then when I went to Florida, I skipped 8th grade, went straight into high school, went to 9th grade. Bit of a culture shock being in the U.S., but made friends in the music class and band and things of that nature. Did my 4 years of high school in Florida, and then joined the Marine Corps. Spent most of my adult life from 1981 on in the Marine Corps. Traveled a lot of places, and then in 2006 it was all over, and now I have 2 wonderful kids, an 18-year-old daughter and a 22-year-old son.
Uniform every day. Didn't really like that, but I went to a Catholic high school, same thing, and then I went to college in Boston. Used to take the train to and from school, and I worked while I was in school, so I was always in the city, but I loved coming back to the suburbs. And then before I graduated high school, I decided I wanted to move to California, and I moved to Los Angeles when I was 23, after I graduated college. I grew up with a lot of people in the same house, and you were primarily one, 2, or 3, depending on your cousins that were with you.
Right. I think for us, our family structure was completely different, but our parenting, as we've known each other for 20-something years, we're very, very much alike. We're different in a lot of ways, as you can probably see, but we're very much alike in a lot of ways.
Did you just say that?
Yes, I mean, it's obvious.
I think our parents were similar in the way they raised us, but they were very different people, obviously.
That's I think the beauty of it is 2 different cultures, seemingly worlds apart, and having the same values and the same structure of how they raise their kids, and we end up meeting and marrying each other and having a wonderful life together.
And liking each other.
Yes. I think,
liking.
No,
Just
liking.
like.
But I think that's a testament to how important a good, strong family foundation and parents being involved with their kids in any culture, how that translates into you dropping someone from the Caribbeans into Middle America. They meet someone from Middle America and they get along great. Decades later, it works.
I had a Boston accent, and when I moved here, people would say to me, "Oh, you're from Boston." And after the, 20th, 30th, 40th time, I decided that I wanted to be able to tell somebody where I was from, not my accent, to give it away. So it took me about a year. So I just made a conscious effort to pronounce my R's, and it took me a while. And I don't see it as something like I wasn't proud of where I was from, because I love Boston and I love Massachusetts. But it was more about, I wanted to tell somebody, "Oh, where are you from?" "I'm from Boston." Instead of, "Oh, my name is Masha and I'm from Boston."
For me, moving to Florida from St. Croix at the age of 13, skipping 8th grade and going straight into 9th grade into high school with a strong Caribbean accent, where everything sounded like this and everybody was good to go. It was kind of tough, the culture shock of being in Florida, being in the U.S., being a new kid in the high school, being younger than everyone else in my class. I felt at that age that one of the ways to fit in was to work on not being the island kid. So I worked on my accent. I listened to a lot of radio and a lot of TV, and I practiced the words. As you may or may not know, from the Virgin Islands, the accent isn't as strong as a Jamaican accent in some ways, but a lot of words that are TH just becomes T. So take that ting over there and put it on the table. So I worked on that. So TH was always a difficult thing for me to say as a kid. Now it's just natural. But when I was a little kid and I had to say, take that over there, it was a lot of take that over there. So losing of the accent was more, as a young kid, something I felt I had to do to fit in.
My family now has a lot of different nationalities in it, with my nieces and my nephews and us. So I love to see like the blending of all these different nationalities and families, and everybody gets along. And I think that's what this world is coming to, which I think is beautiful. And that's one of the reasons that I love Los Angeles, because I always called it a melting pot when I was 23 years old. But back in Boston at the time I grew up, you were either Irish or Italian. I never knew anyone that was Jewish. I never knew anyone that was black until I went to high school. And now you go there and it's completely different. It's more like a melting pot. So
one of the things that we've identified, most guys grow up and marry a woman that reminds them or have traits that remind them of their mother. Most women grow up that marry a guy that reminds them of their father. And many times, there's things I would say that's totally off the top of my head, and she'd look at me.
Goofy things.
Yeah, just totally random, silly statements, and she'd look at me and go, the only other person I've heard ever to say that was my dad. And, so the point, I think, is that regardless of how different your cultures may look, we're all connected in some way just by the nature of family. A mom and a dad is a mom and a dad here in the U.S. In Boston, a mom and a dad is a mom and a dad in Christiansted, St. Croix, in Paris, France, in Istanbul, Turkey, in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It doesn't matter. They're family. And one of the things that I think I enjoy seeing is when we go back east and visit her family, and again, a room with 30, 40 different cultures, but it's all her family with me and some Dominicans in the room and some of everything. And there's not one argument, one fight, one mean look. It's just everybody in this huge group of people just having a good time and appreciating, loving, and enjoying each other. And I think that's where we should be going. I think that's what family is about. It's not about how you look. It's not about what people expect you to be like. It's what we should be. Good to each other, kind to the people around you, and just appreciating the fact that you have a family. Because there are a lot of lonely people out there that don't have a family to go and spend time with. So appreciate that one other family member you have, even if it's a distant cousin. You have to appreciate family because that's what we're built on.